You fill up my senses like a night in a forest, like the mountains in springtime, like a walk in the rain.
John Denver was a poet and a visionary who worked to make this a better world. His gentle touch and courage will be missed. Our legacy is his music, over 250 songs, which will live on in our hearts. I clearly remember in this 1986 interview John's passion for life, and I will never forget his emotion when I asked him what gift he wanted most. His generous heart touched me.
The love songs are written, Love Again, Love is a Master, I Can't Escape. I listen a lot to that, and I think that some of the words, like I Can't Escape Feeling the Way I Do, in the love song, I Wish This Were 10 Years Ago, and Things Would Be the Way They Were. I think you're saying some things there.
Well, you know, it's like a lot of the love songs that I've written were built on, if not my experience of my relationship with Annie when we were married, more often what I saw our relationship being, what it could be. And sometimes it's what it was. But like, for instance, you know, when I wrote I'm Sorry, you know, Annie and I were in great shape at that time, so that's not about our relationship, and yet that's one of my most popular songs. And what I was trying to do was, there was a whole thing happening with women's lib at that time, and all of a sudden, for the first time in history, really, all of a sudden women were stepping out of their relationships and going off to set their own way in the world, and guys couldn't believe it. And so I tried to put myself in their shoes of a guy who all of a sudden his woman has left him, and he can't believe it. And all of a sudden he starts to think, you know, well, maybe I did take some things for granted, and I didn't say all the things that I could have said, and I lied a couple of times, and I'm sorry. And it's too late, and I'm sorry because you're not here anymore. So I'm able to do that, you know, and I'm able to put it out there, a lot of what a relationship can be. The song that you mentioned, I Can't Escape.
Yeah.
Where Annie has to do with that is that I think we have a pretty great relationship right now. We're almost, you know, we're pretty close to being friends. We don't really hang out together. We don't spend a lot of time together, but we have a very amicable relationship. And the truth is that I do care about her. You know, she's the mother of my children, and some of the best years of my life we had together. I hope they were some of the best years of her life, and I care about her, you know, and I'm sure that's true of a whole lot of people who have gone through the experience of divorce. Sometimes it's bitter and just terribly painful. If Annie and I had a marriage of dreams, our divorce has been as good as it can possibly be, in my opinion. And so I want her to know that I care about her. I want to support her. I want her to be happy. I am involved with this woman. She's a part of my life as I am with hers, and you can't cut that off. And so that is in the song. But a whole lot of it is also the experience of someone who maybe didn't have children, who was only, you know, it was 10 years ago that we were together, or that we started together. So it's not just about her.
Well, I just read into it that I felt that it was, but it's beautiful, and I like the feelings that you put out there about your relationship. Would you say I also sense some loneliness, John?
Well, I've been very, very lonely, and I think there's an incompleteness in an individual who doesn't have a partner, who doesn't have a relationship. I think that's part of our. It's part of what we need to be as human beings, you know, is to have that balance, to have that give and take. And so, actually, I've found a girl since I did this album. It's only a couple of months old. I met a girl in Australia, and I feel very, very lucky. I have somebody who I care for deeply and who cares for me. And there's a possibility of a new relationship. And so I'm not so lonely.
Well, that's great. One world means a lot then, doesn't it? One world, all nearer. That's great. I want to ask you about this speaking out. Do you feel that a performer should speak out through his art on social and political issues?
I think that any individual is obligated, has a responsibility to himself. You're not responsible to anybody else. It's not the fact that you might be able to make a difference. I think if you have a strong feeling about something that's going on in your life, around your environment, a part of your environment, if you have a vision of a better way, if you don't say it, that to me is like the cardinal sin. Because what it is not only, it's like you deny yourself. You deny yourself and you deny everybody else by not being yourself, by not giving yourself completely. And so, if you have a feeling, and I've been very, very lucky in my life. I've had the opportunity to see a lot of different kinds of things, to live a lot of different kinds of lives with people. And through translating that into music, I've had incredible success all over the world. So perhaps I have a gift, which is articulating things that a lot of other people feel. Like you just said, you relate to this song, I Can't Escape, or Love is the Master, or Annie's Song, or Country Roads, whatever it is. And people all over the world do this. So perhaps my gift is being able to articulate things that a lot of people feel and they just don't know how to say. Now, sometimes those things are personal experiences or feelings. Sometimes they're things that have to do with the world that we live in and the way that things are and the way that we perceive that they can be changed. And I have very strong feelings about that. And I'll tell you honestly that the reason I'm working as hard as I am right now, the reason that I've been home 14 days this year so far. Boy. 14 days. Now, I don't have to work.
No.
But I have, first of all, a commitment in my life. And secondarily, I think I've been able to articulate some things for people that haven't been the way they've heard them out there. And I cannot say no to that. It's an opportunity to me. It's a possibility. And I cannot be true to myself and shut my mouth. You know, I can't be true to myself, and I'd love to go fishing. I'd love to go spend more time with my kids. But, and I've talked very seriously about this with them because it's the time that we don't spend together that I think is the biggest obstacle that I face. And it's perhaps a difficulty for them. I said, you guys, I believe in this with my whole heart and soul. And I'm committed to the possibility that I see on our planet for human beings. And I can't say no to this. And I don't think that I can do a better thing for you as your father than to do everything that I can to create a world of peace, a world of possibility for you and everybody like you. You know, my children are adopted.
Yes.
So I just have a very strong feeling about that. And I give myself completely to this commitment, to this opportunity.
And it shows. It's coming through. You've just made a big step. You've just made a very strong statement on what are we making weapons for. Explain that. So, I was in the Soviet Union. I did the first public concerts by an American artist in over 7 years. They predated the Cultural Exchange Agreement, which was certified or passed at the Geneva Summit. To a degree, I think that the success of what we did in the Soviet Union moved that cultural exchange agreement up to the top of the priority list. This is something worth doing. At least we can do this. Let's do it. So I had a great experience in the Soviet Union. I believe that people everywhere are the same. And I believe that music is a universal language. And that when you speak this universal language from heart to heart, amazing things happen. So the audiences that I had in the Soviet Union were not unlike the audiences here. They proved my point to a degree. One of the things that I found out when I was in the Soviet Union is that they lost 20 million people in the Second World War. Now, we lost 458,000. That's not to diminish our loss or what was given. But comparatively speaking, 20 million people. And the war wasn't fought here. It was fought over there. Leningrad was under siege for 900 days.
there's a cemetery on the outskirts of Leningrad called Piskaryovskaya Memorial. It's a memorial to all the people who lost their lives in the Second World War. And there are 470,000 people buried in this one cemetery in mass graves. To visit this place would change your life, no matter who you are. So to go from that experience to the plight of the American farmer. My father was raised on a small family farm. My happiest memories from childhood and the thing that had the most influence, I think, in my life were experiences on that small farm. We're losing 43,000 farms last year. 866 a week on the average. Small farms are going off the map. People cannot make their living that way anymore. I believe that the small family farm, the small family business, is the foundation of any society. And I think that history proves me correct. And if we lose that foundation, I believe that we lose the society. So I think we're in great danger in this country. And I think it's because we are misdirected, in a sense. The Presidential Commission that I served on world and domestic hunger, under President Carter, said that we do more to serve national security. We do more to serve peace in the world by ending hunger than by building all the nuclear weapons you can imagine. We are spending currently $1 billion a day on defense, on national security. What the hell are we defending? How many young people do you know who have graduated from high school or who have gone to college and want to step out on their own and make their own living in the world, prove that they're an adult, show that they can take care of themselves, and haven't been able to do it and have to go back home and live with mom and dad because they can't afford it? I know young couples, both of whom have jobs, and they cannot afford to have a child.
Right.
What are we defending? What are we securing, you know? So I think that we're misdirected. And what I want to do is put the question out there. Dwight Eisenhower said, every time that we make another missile, we take food out of the mouths of hungry children. I believe that to be true. So I want to put the question out there. I want people to relate in a different way than they have heretofore. I want them to relate to the small family farmer. I want them to relate to those people who can't make their own living in the world today. And I want them to ask the question, you know, what are we making weapons for? What we put $1 billion a day. Now let's just say, you know, a lot of people say, I'm not talking about unilateral disarmament. I don't agree with that. A nuclear freeze, I think sooner or later, that's a step that has to be taken. But even before that, what if we were to take 1% of the $300 billion that we're spending on defense, on security? Let's take 1%. That's $3 billion. Let's take half of it, and let's put that into programs, 1, to stave off the banks from calling in the loans on the small family farmer, 2, to help the poor people, 3, to help the homeless, 4, to help the American Indian, get themselves solidified in our society. That's half of it. That's $1.5 billion. Let's take the other half of 1%, and let's give some of that to Africa, to Ethiopia. Let's take some of it and put it down in Mexico, invest it in Mexico, so that those people aren't so caught up in trying to come across our borders because they have a better opportunity here. Let's create a better opportunity for them there. Let's deal with the problem, not the symptom. You know?
Yeah.
Let's do what my friend Buckminster Fuller talked about. Let's put it into livingry, not weaponry. And let's take a step at a time. Let's take 1%. And I'll bet you the Soviets would be willing to do the same. And maybe we can start to turn this thing around and we can stop feeding the war machine. And let's start living as if we, you know, it's like the song says, if peace is our vision, let us begin. Let us begin. Somehow, some way, there's got to be a step that we can take that shows that we do believe in peace.
Grassland farmer, western Oklahoma, 1943. I always felt grateful to live in the land of the free. I gave up my father to South Korea, the mind of my brother to Vietnam. And now there's a banker who says I must give up my land. There are 4 generations of blood in this topsoil, 4 generations of love on this farm. Before I give up, I would gladly give up my right arm. What are we making weapons for? Why keep on feeding the war machine? We take it right out of the mouths of our babies, take it away from the hands of the poor. Tell me, what are we making weapons for?
John, you've given so much. Let me ask you something that I was thinking about while you were saying this too. What gift would you like most to receive in life? Not tangible. What gift would you like most to receive?
To receive?
Mm-hmm. To
I have
receive.
it. People let me sing for them. I love to sing. There's nothing that makes me happier than to sing my heart out, to sing these songs that have come through me, that mean so much to me, that say how I feel about life, that are an expression of, I think, the spirit that is in all of us. And that I have the opportunity to sing, that there are people out there who will listen, who let me sing for them. I'm way ahead. I'm one of the luckiest men in the world.
You fill up my senses like a night in a forest, like the mountains in springtime, like a walk in the rain, like a storm in the desert, like a sleepy blue ocean. You fill up my senses, come fill me again. Come, let me love you. Let me give my life to you. Let me drown in your laughter. Let me die in your arms. Let me lay down beside you. Let me always be with you. Come, let me love you. Come, love me again.